What's up? It's the Far Left Lane tier list. I mean, podcast. We just do a lot of tier lists.
We sure do.
I'm your host, Kevin Sample. Just kidding. I'm the other guy. See, we're having fun already, dude. How are you this week, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excited for this one, dude. We're gonna go hard this week. So it's probably a good time to give the audience a disclaimer. If you're not into the politics, use those chapter markers, skip ahead. If you don't want to hear us do a book review for a book you don't care about and haven't read or probably won't read, skip ahead, or watch a previous episode. Or go for a run. I hear that's really good with the soul. All right, man. I want to get it started with a segment that we've played before on episodes 5 and 9. It's called the R/D game. Do you remember it?
I remember it.
I want you to tell people how this works. What are we trying to accomplish here?
We're trying to assign Republican or Democrat to things that aren't political.
Yeah, everything's political.
So
kind of. We make everything political.
Yeah. It's the American way.
Okay. I totally agree. Let's do some silly ones, man. Okay. In-N-Out versus Shake Shack. Which one's conservative? Which one's liberal?
That's a tough one.
I have some thoughts. I didn't actually think about these before. I just made the topics, but I was like, I'll think about it in real time. I do have some thoughts on this. Because In-N-Out is a Christian company for one, Okay. And they also, I don't think they do anything like marketing social issues, where I know Shake Shack, they'll do like pride burgers and stuff like that. Those are some pretty big, those are some pretty big indicators to me that one definitely is more liberal, and Shake Shack, weirdly enough, because Shake Shack is like on the West Coast and it really appeals to the Hollywood crowd, I would almost say Democrat, but they're secret Christian, they put little like Christian Bible verses on the secret like rim of the cup. And yeah, dude, I think that one's pretty clearly, for me at least, Shake Shack's a Democrat.
Okay. I was actually, as I was thinking, I actually thought In-N-Out was going to be Democrat. Because the first time I had it was in California.
Right.
When I visited San Francisco. But where did they originate from? Do you know?
In-N-Out?
Yeah. Is it a California?
It's California.
Okay.
Yeah, and Shake Shack's New York.
Oh, okay. They're both Democrat.
I kind of think so. But
no, I think after you said that.
Yeah, I think because of the Christian ownership and probably their politics are that way. And also, you used to do this with the other ones where you would think like, which one's older? What's the OG? Shake Shack is definitely like the original West Coast burger, All right, let's call it that. How about this one? While we're doing fast food, a drive-through versus getting like a, dining in or a drive-through. What person's gonna do what?
I could see it going both ways. I'm gonna do gut instinct.
Decide.
Yeah. Okay. Drive-through conservative?
That's what I think, but I'm not sure why. Does that mean that conservatives are lazy? They would go through is that the connection? I don't know what the connection is, dude.
I don't know what the connection is either, because you could say there's wealthy conservatives and Democrats.
That was weird. We just had an audio issue. That was strange.
We did?
Yeah.
How do you know? Oh, from your side? You had a...
Yeah, because I couldn't hear you for a second.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, how about this? Long pants and short pants.
Long pants, that's conservative.
I agree.
You got to be covering up your...
Cover it up.
Cover that skin up.
That one was pretty clear. Red versus white wine.
I just want to say red just for Republican.
I don't know. I think that somehow that does work out. That's not the reason I would say that. But that does work out that way for some strange reason.
It's the color.
Tattoos and piercings. Who's getting what?
Oh. Democrats?
Both. No, we got to play the game, dude. We got to follow the rules. Don't be a rule breaker, Kevin. I have a thought on this.
I want to say both of them are Democrat.
No, it's R/D.
I know. I got to make a decision.
I have a point to make
all
on
right,
this.
let's hear it.
I think sometimes being liberal for some people, I think it's a phase. I think sometimes you go through a kind of I'm going to be like a punk, go against the system. And then other times you get older and you're like, I'm going to be fiscally responsible. And for the same reason, piercings, you can change your mind, So I'm going to say piercings are liberal and tattoos, they're on you forever. It's permanent. Like being a Republican.
I know tons of people that have switched their politics from Republican.
Yeah, I think that both
I understand.
switch. Yeah, there's a little bit of logic there, but still, that one's pretty tough.
Yeah.
This one's gonna be tougher. Okay.
Okay.
Electric vehicles versus gas vehicles.
Oh, that's not tough.
EVs are gas.
Gas is Republican. EVs are Democrat.
But then again, the biggest maker of EVs is a pretty hardcore Republican, and he's
that's a recent change, though.
Yeah.
I have a lot of family and friends that are in very far right conservative, politics. They do not like EVs at all. Even though Elon Musk, owns Tesla.
He has such fanboys though, like all these people that are into his politics and stuff who now have changed over. So I think
there's exceptions.
Maybe
there's
not
exceptions.
Maybe
sure,
not historic. Not historically, but I would say now I'd have to say gas has to go to Democrats just because of the Tesla thing. I think.
I don't know. I disagree.
You're right. You're right. It is a new thing, but it is I don't know. I think it's changed now. The pendulum has swung a different direction.
There's a lot of people, I think, as Elon Musk has gotten more political, where he's actually turning off a lot of people to Teslas, and they're getting the Democrats that might be more, environmentally conscious. They're choosing other EVs basically, because Tesla's not the only one on the market. But
yeah,
I don't know. I disagree, but you know what? That's all right.
Yeah, there's no correct answers on this.
There isn't.
All right, this last one is kind of a thinker. Introverts versus extroverts. Any gut instincts?
I guess Democrats tend to be a part of the generally, not always, the woke crowd, and they're pretty loud. But then I don't know, conservatives can get pretty loud too. I'm gonna go with my gut instinct. I'm gonna say left side is gonna be the extroverts.
I agree. It's strange that we got there because I wasn't sure why, but you said it in a way where it was like, yeah, they are usually the loudest voices. Yeah, that makes sense, dude. Okay, well, hey, that was just a good warm up to get us in a political spirit, but now we're going to be classy and we're going to finish up the Novel November book review. This is Artemis.
I rented mine about this from the library, so I don't have a copy anymore, but
that's okay. I just wanted to show. Yeah, so let's just say quickly, did you like it or not?
Yeah, I have a lot to say about this book. I liked it. That's all.
Okay. Well, this book was good.
My Andy Bernard review.
I was thinking about it. Like, how would you sum up this book to explain to the audience? Anyone who's they might want to listen, but they're curious. I don't know. I guess the best way to say it is it's like Brazilian organized crime cornering the market on aluminum mining on the moon, but the main character is a Saudi girl.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. And they're like, wow, that's a crazy elevator pitch. I want to start with pros because I don't want to be negative on this completely, but I do have a long list of cons.
Yeah.
I think we're going to agree on this. Pro, it's a great female lead. She's an interesting character. Jazz.
She's smart.
She's funny. She seems sexy. She seems brave.
She's
Yeah,
poor.
there's a lot of
No,
things about her I liked.
that's not a.
What?
I said she's poor
What?
because she does this heist to get out of
Right.
poverty, basically. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like a stripper, paying her way through college. We can't fault her. But I really liked her, and that's pretty much the only character in the book that's good. Every other character is like so one note, dude. It's crazy to me.
like her pen pal,
Let's
which I forgot his name. What was his? And her
Kelvin.
partner to smuggle. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I had a very hard time remembering the different names of the
There's a
people.
lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they're unique names. Every
yeah,
character's from a different country. Um, I don't know, man. There's things I liked about it and things I didn't. And it was mostly the side characters just being like so one note. Like, yeah, the friend Sobo or Sobota, whatever his name was, he was like just kind of her. I don't feel like he was even like, what was their connection? It was just proximity. It seemed like they live in the same lunar city, and they're like they just kind of. There wasn't much more to it, but then at the end they had this forced kiss romantic moment, and I was like, I didn't see that coming.
right.
And then there's like the guy that she got hired, Trond, the Swedish guy. He was kind of a caricature to me. Like he felt like Mugatu or something. Like he was silly. I didn't care for that. Like then there's the administrator of Artemis, the city. Like I don't remember her name. It was something like Latin. It was like Fidelis or something like that. But
Right.
like that. Do you remember the part where like Jazz is in the office with her, and she starts unraveling her plan, and then the administrator pulls a gun on her in the office, and then continues for like 3 pages to tell her evil plan, like a Bond villain. I thought that was ridiculous. There's a
Yeah.
lot of things like that, dude. The dad was underdeveloped. I mean, geez, so much, dude. It could have been better. I think it would also kind of it feels sort of like it was written like a teleplay. I could see this being a good limited series. Like maybe
Yeah.
Amazon could do that. Like six episodes, compete with For All Mankind. They do have a lot of overlap.
Yeah,
I
that's
could
one
see
one of
that
the things
being.
I liked about it. I like the setting. I like the lunar
Yeah,
base. I thought all that stuff was
yeah,
cool.
yeah. I thought it had some cool action scenes. It had some, there was some good world building here, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta give credit to Rosario Dawson. She did the audiobook because I read part of this and then I switched to the audiobook. And then in the middle of the audiobook, they had a different narrator who was like this flamboyant guy with a terrible voice. And I couldn't deal with it. It was like
Really?
crazy, dude. Like, here's my impression. Rosario Dawson is reading Jazz like the way I would hear her voice. She'd be like go into Tron's office, and be like, Tron, I smuggle cigars for you. Why do you think I can do this job? And why are you paying me $1 million? That's how I would hear it when I read it. But then
Right.
this flamboyant dude in the middle, he'd be like, Tron, I don't know what's wrong with you. I want $1 million. It was just like terrible. I'm like, why did you go into voiceover, dude? You have a terrible voice. Really bothered me
Yeah.
in a profound way. But yeah, I love the way she performed it. And I gotta say, also credit to Andy Weir because I don't think, not that I'm a writer, but I don't think I would ever even like take a shot at
Writing a
writing
female lead.
a female like Middle Eastern woman. I don't have that perspective.
Yeah.
So the fact that he does that, and he also does his trademark kind of like really deep dives into the science to make it seem like all like it's possible.
Hmm.
Good in those ways. Yeah. Um,
What's a science thing you learned from the book?
uh, I don't know. And they were like doing like there was like actually I think I learned a lot about welding. They like really went into detail about like sheet metal and how many
Yeah.
layers thick, and then that was maybe only one of the parts where I was like, oh, this dad is an interesting character, but then it didn't go any further. And then at the end, he's like, Jazz, I'm so proud of you. I love you, my daughter. And I was like, dude, he was like a stoic, quiet, silent type. And then all of a sudden at the end, she's kissing her friend and her dad and her having this like embrace. I'm like, some things were too rushed, and then other things like other obstacles that they like faced were resolved in like a paragraph. Like there was a
Right.
part I remember where she had to crack a safe, and she figured out how to crack a safe in less than a page. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Things like that, pacing issues. But yeah, like I said, pretty good idea for a limited series. Hey, Jeff Bezos, if you listen to our podcast, greenlight this thing and put it on Prime. I'll watch it. Did you have any other thoughts on Artemis?
I'm trying to think. If I had to rank it, so I've only read that Project Hail Mary. I didn't read The Martian. I know the Martian's like well-received book too, and it was a great movie. I saw
Oh
the
yeah,
movie. I would definitely
yeah,
rank it below Project Hail Mary. I thought that book was better,
it is
different but
better. You
better.
know what? Why Project Hail Mary is superior is because it's both plot and character driven. Where this thing was character driven with Jazz.
Yeah,
She was well rounded, but the rest of it was plot driven, like a scavenger hunt. Like we need to get this to do this, and then it was like, now what's the next thing? What's the next obstacle we're gonna overcome in a minute?
yeah.
Um, but no, I did like it. It just took me a lot longer to read, considering definitely for a book this big, it's the longest it's taken me to read
It took me a
something
very
like
long time
this.
to read it. I also had some issues too when there'd be like flashbacks to her writing her pen pal, and like sometimes it would
Yeah,
like kind of mess. I was like, what timeline is this? This it seems like it's in the past,
right.
but it's kind
Yeah,
of hard to
the
tell.
Kelvin storyline was 100% filler. The
Yeah,
pen pal, there's no need for it because the only way that would actually make sense, like from a story like symmetry perspective, is if Kelvin was having things that paralleled her experiences. You
yeah.
know, like,
Well, I
and
think
then you'd be like, oh, okay. There wasn't enough of that though.
the reason why they had all that in there was just to make it so that she had an opportunity to be a smuggler. You know what I mean? Because like
Right.
he's the only reason why she's smuggling stuff.
That's true. That's true. Well,
But
I agree. I would put it, I would put it under the Project Hail Mary, the Martian. This
yeah.
I actually looked up to see if he had anything else that I wasn't aware of that came out, and there
Is it
was
just
something
those
kind
three?
of interesting.
Oh, there's another one. Okay.
What?
Oh, I said, is
No,
it just those
not
three
really.
books?
There's something else, but it's a comic book. So I was like, oh, it kind of lost me. It sounded interesting because it's like about like Alice in Wonderland, Dorothy from Oz, and Wendy from Neverland all teaming up and going on this crazy adventure. I was like, that's so different from anything he's written before, but it's a comic book. So I'm just like,
Hmm.
pass, hard pass. I don't know. I think we covered that pretty thoroughly. I feel sophisticated. We talked about a book. Do you want to keep it moving?
Yeah. Next segment.
Let's do it. Next segment. Nice callback. Let's do a thought experiment, man. Here's a prediction I have for the year 2026. I think we're going to get to a point where we're going to have ballot sorting robots. We have all these robots we've looked at before. The Amazon ones are essentially sorting robots. The Tesla bot, we've seen like it's getting better at putting category A and B. Would you trust a ballot sorting robot over a human?
Uh, as long as humans are supervising
Of
the
course.
robots, then that I would be okay with that.
What about the public? Do you think the public would ever get on board, or would they say, "No, I don't like Elon Musk's politics. I think that this might be rigged." You know?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So if we only
Yeah,
had Tesla bots
yeah.
doing this,
Well, I think most likely, if we ever got to a point, I'm saying this obviously election cycle, we're not there, but maybe they would test something like this in like 2026, like a midterm election. Be like, hey, this is a good way to process ballots quicker and maybe more efficiently with less fraud. I'm just wondering if the public would ever get on board with that. You know?
yeah, I don't know. Maybe if they did it, if they can prove that it's accurate and have it like compared with humans doing it, you know what I mean? Like a second count, just to.
Yeah.
I think that would be good.
Yeah, I could see us getting there. I think it's going to take a bit of the public getting used to it. I definitely would trust. I don't think that Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos would do something like have a bias in their robots,
Yeah.
And also, I do think that would be something they can live stream it. I told you in Colorado they're not going to live stream ballot count anymore because they want to protect the vote counters. But yeah, you could have the bots do it with full transparency.
Does it look
Hey,
like I
you
have a
got
cat on my shoulder?
Yeah, it's perfect actually. The perspective is funny too because it's like like a little hamster on your shoulder. That's cute. I don't know. I was just thinking about that
Yeah,
because I do think that's
I was gonna say I think it depends on how Neuralink works out, right? Let's see if Elon Musk is if did you hear about they had the first human? Uh,
did you read my outline in my
oh,
glasses?
no, was that the thing you were gonna talk about next? I'm sorry.
Literally, I go from there. No, it's cool. It was perfect segue. I was like, Oh wait, he's reading my outline for
No,
me.
no, I was just thinking though,
um,
if
Perfect.
the Neuralink, if Elon
Uh-huh.
Musk is pushing any of his stuff on there, like the first person to get it, suddenly he's interested in getting like a Tesla and getting a X premium subscription, like that might like change my
Yeah.
opinion on the Tesla bots because I'd be like, he might be influencing those bots.
Yeah. But if they're literally just programmed to look at something and just binary choices, put it in a column, and also like somehow log that, I would trust that a lot.
Yeah,
I would trust it. I would trust it from anyone, like who has proven that they have a sorting bot that isn't like getting jammed up and be like, oops, I accidentally dropped a couple in the B column.
yeah. They do
I
need
don't
to
know.
move a lot faster. I saw that Tesla bot where it was folding clothes, which was very impressive, but it was
Right.
moving like Joe Biden,
Yeah.
like very
Also, that was
slow.
motion capture because there was actually a
Oh,
guy next. There was a guy next to him wearing a suit, and his movements were mirrored. So
oh, that wasn't.
that wasn't
Ah,
intelligence at all. It was actually
okay.
just more getting the physicality right. Um, a bit
It
misleading,
was
but
basically
hey,
just
all
remote control. It was like,
basically, yeah, it
yeah,
was. But that's
okay.
basically what Boston Dynamics does. With their all their crazy robot
Yeah, I
moves.
I didn't know that until you told me that, so I didn't realize it was all.
Let's go back to the Neuralink for a second. That was a perfect segue, man. So what was it called? The first product officially is like Telepathy, I think, is the name of
Oh, I
the
actually don't
implant.
know. Is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
I think
I thought it was just
I think
called
it's called
Neuralink.
Neuralink is the company, and their first product is Telepathy.
Oh, it seems like the
And
product
I
should be called Neuralink because it is a link in your brain.
I mean, it makes sense, but I mean, it's like Apple and iPhone. I just think it's just, and also, I mean, telepathy is kind of cool because it is like superhuman. And that is weird to think right now that we have a human being who's kind of like the first, like, the hybrid.
Hmm.
I think it's so creepy too because, like they went through like 1,500 animals before this guy signed up. They killed a lot of monkeys.
I heard about that. I don't know the
Actually,
number, but
well, it wasn't 1,500 monkeys. It was 1,500 animals, but a lot of monkeys. And unfortunately, what happened with most of the monkeys is they were aware that they had a thing, an implant.
uh-huh.
So they were picking at it, and then like it was self-inflicted wounds.
Ugh.
Yeah. So that. I don't think that's going to happen to a human. I mean, I think that did happen on an episode of Black Mirror.
Hopefully
Exactly
Neuralink
that.
doesn't itch.
I think it might because the monkeys had an issue with it. Put some Neosporin on it; it'll be fine. Yeah, I'm curious who the person is who has it. I'm curious what kind of data they're getting back. There was a funny guy on X who posted a thing saying I'm actually the candidate. I got the implant. And he says I'm writing this X right to you right now with my brain. And he was like goofing off. It was a guy with just a bunch of followers.
Yeah.
He looked like a barstool sports guy. He was making a funny joke, which I read through. But I looked
Went
at the
viral.
comments, and everyone in the comments believed it. They're like, "That's incredible. Can you tell us about your experience? Did you sign an NDA and stuff?" And it's like he was messing with you guys. People are very gullible.
Yeah.
Hey man, uh, I like to do talking pints with you, and we're about to get like really into it with some big boy topics. So let's have a big boy drink. Do you have a beer you can
I
cheers with me?
I do.
Yeah.
What are you drinking today? Same thing you had last week?
Uh, Same thing. Yeah, I'm not very exciting. It's
I
not
I'm
really about
drinking the same
talking about the
brand.
pints. Oh yeah.
Same brand but different one. This is the Basement IPA. It's not a double.
So I don't have a ton of AI this week to talk about, but this is sort of AI adjacent. Um, 4chan. There's some guys in 4chan who created an AI tool where it edits photos of hot women. So you get a picture of a girl, like an e-girl or some sexy woman, and what it does is it dresses them up very like appropriately. It removes their tattoos. It's like it's 4chan, so it's the most incel thing possible, like
Is this the same thing that was used with the Taylor Swift stuff? That was on the news about?
But that's the opposite though. They were making
Yeah,
like malicious. That was like malicious use of AI.
yeah.
This is they're taking like women and they're kind of judging them. It's definitely like very like pathetic loser mentality to be
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna teach these ladies a thing or two about decency and self-respect. You know, it's like old school conservative values. And I know maybe some people might say they're doing it as a joke. It's kind of funny, but I'm pretty sure there's people who are doing this like as like a public service. You know, they're like,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't like these whorish women online, so I'm gonna create a tool to fix that. Smut. I don't like it, dude. I think it's some pathetic loser shit. Honestly, if you're out there and you're a 4chaner, um, actually, I don't want to piss those people off. They're scary. I probably already said too much. Any thoughts on this? Do you think that's a good tool, or do you think that's just a silly thing?
So they're going to be manipulating photos of women and putting them back online. I feel like you shouldn't be able to do that unless you have consent from the you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know.
I agree. It is just. I mean, it's an invasion of privacy in a different way. It's not
Yeah.
like the Taylor Swift thing where it's like it's um lewd, but it is like still it's like it's making a statement about like we don't like us, you know, nerds. We don't like women in general, and we definitely don't like hot women. I'll say this as a bachelor forever. I'm a fan of looking at pretty pictures of pretty women online. I like a tattooed lady. So I don't know. I just thought that was so ridiculous and cringy. That's the
Yeah.
cringiest story
That's
of the
pretty
week.
cringe.
Um, this is tech, I guess, so it's kind of in there. Do you use Snapchat still?
I don't. I think I
I
still
don't
have an
need.
account, but I never saw the thing. I feel like I'm too old for that. I feel
Same.
like it would,
Yeah, I never got into it.
yeah, I think it's a
Uh,
generation thing. I don't know.
well, 2 years ago, Snapchat got into the hardware game briefly. I don't know if you heard about this.
Oh yeah, was it the glasses or
The,
this
no, it was a
or that?
drone. It was like a tiny, like a little
Oh
handheld
no,
drone.
I think Snapchat also had glasses, but this was more than 2 years ago. This was like several
Oh,
years
really?
ago.
I didn't know about
It
that.
was like some camera sunglasses thing, I thought.
Okay, interesting.
I
I never heard that one. The reason I bring up the drone though is because just about 2 years ago they made like 70,000 units of this thing,
uh-huh.
and it cost like $230, which I think was pretty steep for a little drone that has like 10-minute battery life. It's like a
Hmm.
toy.
Yeah.
Well, just the other day I saw online that they're recalling them. 2 years later, they're like, get rid of those things. They're dangerous. The batteries are bulging, catching on fire, damaging people's property. One person got injured. So they did this program. They're like, send us the drones back, get rid of the batteries in a safe way. Um, but I was thinking about that. It was like 70 units or 70,000 units. Let's do these calculations. I already did the calculations, but I'm pretending. It was like $16 million. So I'm like, okay, someone's gonna get fired for that. It's probably gonna be lawsuits too. But this is why I bring this up. I want to just talk about how stupid I am. When I was thinking of all that money, I was like, oh no, I hope Snapchat's okay. They're they're fine, dude. Do you know how much Snapchat is worth? It's wild to me.
Can I guess? I'm gonna say
Yeah,
700 million.
28 billion.
28 billion?
Billion. I had no
That's
idea that they
ridiculous.
were worth that because like I thought they peaked a while ago. First of all, you know,
Yeah.
and also I guess I just underestimate a lot of tech companies because like that data is so valuable, you know. But it's weird to me that they're
That's very
28 billion
strange.
dollars. So 16 million or whatever that payout plus some lawsuits, it's a drop in the bucket. That's nothing.
Maybe if I use Snapchat and I saw how active it is, I'd be like, "Oh, I could see this being worth a lot." But because I don't
Yeah.
know, I'm ignorant to I just don't get it. I
Yeah,
don't understand the appeal of Snapchat.
I never understood it, and we had friends that really liked it, and I was just sort of like not understanding it. I felt like I was showing my age then, and now I'm even a couple years older. So I'm like, yeah, I can't do it, dude. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Um, I want you to tell me about Starlab. I don't really know much about this, man. What's
Yeah.
the story?
So Starlab is a private space station that's going to be launching in 2028. They just announced that the Starship from SpaceX, they're going to launch it all in one trip. So like
Okay.
the International Space Station, it's going to be decommissioned in 2030. So like there's all
Right.
these like private space station, like private companies that are trying to deploy their own. I think NASA's
Right.
like subsidizing it though, like for most of these. So hopefully we have some sort of stake in it. The government does,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's almost kind of like how, um, medicine, how we like taxpayers subsidize like research and then the private companies, make all the money from it after.
Right.
I don't know. Well, let's see how that turns out. But yeah, that's
Wait, how far away was that? You said 2028 or
2028, so that's
something?
4 more years. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
because they,
I hope we're still here in 4 more years to see how this pans out.
yeah.
I mean, wait till we talk about war. We're gonna get to war in a minute. So yeah, let's have a drink before we do it. But no, you know what? Let's keep it light. Let's keep it light for a second before we get into heavy topics. I'm gonna get political, dude.
Let's get political.
Oh,
Political.
political. I also need to make a disclaimer. I feel like everyone understands this, but my thoughts are my own. Anything I say that someone's like, they're like, oh, what an asshole. I don't want it to fall on you ever. Like, oh, these guys are assholes. What I say is me. What Kevin says is his opinion, So when I say these things, don't target him. Okay, let's keep it light though. Let's do like kind of a TMZ segment. We never talk about celebrity or gossip or anything, but let's talk about some famous viral moments from the week.
Okay.
First of all, this sentence is wacky. It's like a Mad Lib, dude. Larry David assaults Elmo on live TV. Did you see that?
No,
It's so that doesn't even sound real, does it?
it
It
sounds made
actually
up.
happened. He's doing like a press junket, promoting the new season of Curb,
Mhm.
the
This is the
final
last
season of
one,
Curb
yeah.
Your Enthusiasm. Yeah, and so he's like on I don't know if it was the Today Show or Good Morning America, one of the morning shows though. He's there at the same time Elmo is there, and this week Elmo's been focusing on mental health awareness. So Elmo's all over social media, like saying like, "How's everyone feeling? Are you paying attention to your mental health?" Which just annoys the shit out of me. This like kind of like adult happy mealification of America, like treating us like children, like Elmo talking. Even Biden, I mean not Biden, but Karen Jean-Pierre retweeted something saying like, America, listen to Elmo, from Joe Biden. Like I'm like, oh, I hate this baby talk we're doing. Anyways, Larry David's there, and he tried to create a viral moment, which I applaud him for because it's funny. Elmo's talking about mental health, and Larry David just loses it, and he goes over and he starts choking Elmo. And all the people like Al Roker are freaking out because it's like not a scripted moment.
Mhm.
And then they had to sit down Larry David later, and he had to make a formal apology to Elmo. And then in his follow-up interview, they're like, "Why did you do that?" And he's like, "He was just talking about mental health so much. It was annoying." Oh
It's
my
in his
god, dude.
character.
He lives that guy. He lives that character,
Yeah.
dude. But it's such a funny moment. And like actually there was a similar kind of viral moment to promote a show from our boy Troy Barnes, my man,
For the Mr. and
Childish
Mrs. Smith.
Gambino, aka Donald Glover. Well, he has a new show coming out, which is a reboot of the movie
Mr. and Mrs.
Mr.
Smith?
and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever see that movie?
I did see it. I don't remember.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Mm.
What did the kids say? The early aughts? That's when I think it came out.
Yeah, I think that counts. I think that's technically correct.
I
I never
used-
saw it, which is weird because I'm a big Brangelina fan, but I just never saw it.
I don't think it was that
the
good.
reboot
So you don't have to worry.
was it? It wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm probably gonna watch the new show though because I love everything Donald Glover has done.
Yeah.
In
So,
his career, pretty much.
Is it a TV show or is it a movie remake?
I think it's a TV series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
I'm a
that.
little concerned.
I saw the ads for it, but I have not.
Mm.
I just thought it was a movie. I was like, okay, I'll watch this.
I'm a little concerned because I saw an ad and it was like the girl, the Mrs. Smith character. I don't know. I know her from some other things. She's very funny,
Mhm.
but I don't think she's an action star. Because there's a clip of her running and it was like just kind of like I don't know. It looked awkward. I was like, if that's like showing her action star ability, she should stick to comedy. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It might be good. But anyways, what they were doing, he's been doing all these wacky viral videos to promote the show.
Mhm.
Not like in a way where it's like, oh, it's a Mr. and Mrs. Smith tie-in. He's just doing things like he hired the comedian Mark Normand to perform at a comedy show in New York. where they had it planned, set up thing with a bunch of actors in the audience, and a crazy guy ran on stage, created a viral moment. Then the producers come up and they're like, everyone, we need to leave the building. They created like a crisis. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then Mark Norman went on a live podcast and they're asking him like, what was that all about? And he's like, well, I signed an NDA. And he said, but I'll tell you what happened anyway, which was kind of great. And he's just like, yeah, they're just trying to create a viral moment to promote this show, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And I'm like, that's odd. They also bought a bunch of front row seats at a Lakers game and had a bunch of people dressed in furry costumes sit out there. And people were looking up. They're like, what's this for? And it was all going to this marketing company that was going back to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It's just weird.
Wait. So like these stunts they're doing, they're not advertising the movie.
They're not advertising the thing, but the connection is it goes back to Donald Glover, who's kind of a brand in himself, you know?
Yeah.
And then he's promoting the show, so it's like steps. It's not direct, you know? It's not like one of these campaigns where they're doing spy stuff in public and then like, what was that? It's like, oh, it's Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I get it. Something. It's just a weird kind of guerrilla
bizarre.
Marketing.
Yeah.
Very bizarre. So I just said a minute ago, I like everything Donald Glover's done in his career, except for maybe these viral videos. They're kind of weird. But hey, we're talking about it. So maybe something about it is working. Okay, dude. I'm going to have a sip. And then I'm going to talk about
something heavy. Something dark.
Not that heavy. It's gonna like warm up. Okay.
Oh, okay.
But this is some stupidity. Okay, so in a few days ago, these two women threw pumpkin soup on the Mona Lisa in the Louvre to do like a, one of these vandalism demonstrations. Luckily, the Mona Lisa has been attacked many times, so it's behind like bulletproof glass. So no issue there. Mm-hmm. They're just using a high profile thing to make a statement, which was weird. The messaging is very confusing. So they're a part of a group that's under this activist network of groups called A22. We've talked about Just Stop Oil before. That's under the umbrella. And they went up there, they poured pumpkin soup on the Mona Lisa. They stand up and yell about sustainable food and healthy food and how everyone needs to be healthy. I was like,
so they just spilt food and then they're complaining about sustainable food.
Complaining about it. Also,
stop
a Davinci
stop spilling your soup on paintings if you're worried about sustaining it,
Also, why is the Louvre selling pumpkin soup? It doesn't make sense.
I just assumed they just brought it in. So can you do that? Can you eat a bowl of soup while you look at artwork?
I don't know.
That's just as strange as eating cereal while driving, like Dennis and it's always
Dennis.
funny.
Yeah. I think it's weird that they even got through because I'm sure there's a ton of security, and they're bringing a thermos full of soup. A little weird, but no. Here's the thing that's most ironic about it, and I really want to call out these dumbasses for how stupid they are. The thing is, Davinci was an environmentalist. He wasn't a lifelong vegetarian, but at the end of his life, he was like, I'm just gonna rescue animals and work on art. He was a really hippie dude. Also, he did a lot of other cool things. So it's so diametrically opposed to the they're using him as his thing as an example purely because it's popular. But it's I don't know, man. It doesn't make sense. Nothing about it makes sense to me. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts? Do you think this is a dumb story?
This is dumb, but this actually does kind of the R&D game earlier when we said that the extroverts were the Democrats. This is the woke thing that not all Democrats are like this, but
right.
The crazy ones are, I guess. Although I guess the crazy ones on the right are also kind of, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It just bothers me that this streak of vandalizing things to make a point that I think everyone is on the same page. I guess they did this because right now, France and Germany is doing a bunch of farmer protests, and it sort of ties in a little bit, but it is its own thing. It's just weird to use the Davinci painting. I mean, he was, Davinci's like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in a way. His first job was waterway management. And, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a lifelong environmentalist who was in the Water Keepers Alliance and stuff. We actually have a little bit in common. We could move on. It pissed me off so much I had to talk about it. Don't throw pumpkin soup. Don't throw orange paint. Just stop oil. Just stop.
Yeah, stop vandalizing, stop blocking traffic, and then maybe
so annoying, dude.
be on board with your cause.
Yeah, don't piss the people off you're trying to like change hearts and minds. You know, it doesn't make any sense. It's dumb strategy. Okay. This is one of the segments that is going to piss people off, but I'm going to try and play it as cool as possible. In Connecticut the other day, there was a new like regulation that both boys and girls locker rooms have to have tampon dispensers now in Connecticut schools. And 20 minutes after installing the first one, these teenage boys ripped that thing off the wall and just trashed it. Okay, I have a lot to unpack here, dude. First of all,
Why?
I get it. Well,
why did they do? Why was that necessary?
Exactly. It's because, you know, people transition or identify in a way. But the thing is, there's no need for it in any possible way. Let's say there is a boy in that locker room who's like, I actually identify as a woman. There's still no need for a tampon, right? It doesn't make any sense. But it is one of those things where they're like, oh, we have to, you know, give both sides the things they need. And, you know, some boys need tampons now. I mean, personally, this is a cause that I can get behind because, like, I don't care for these issues. But I'm not like a vandalizer. That's just not me, you know?
Yeah.
I think here's what I would most likely do. I'd probably be like, hey, boys, anyone here on your period? And I'll be like, no. And I'd be like, all right, then let's put these things in the trash. I wouldn't rip it down and stomp it and stuff. That seems like aggressive, like borderline hate crime shit. Yeah. But like, you know, still I understand the point of what they're trying to do. So I'm like, okay, well, let's keep it there. Maybe stick our gum on it. Little silent protest.
Here's the question. Were they free?
I think so. Yeah, probably.
Oh, I would just grab some, share it with your female
girlfriend. Yeah.
Your friend, your mom.
Yeah. Grandma.
Yeah.
Grandma. I guess grandmas don't use those. I don't know, man. The trans rights issues, they really don't make sense any way you cut it. It's like, who's going to use, I don't know. I probably should just keep it moving because I'll just go down a rabbit hole of saying things that I'll regret. I don't know. You have any other thoughts?
Crazy Uncle Ted. You're trying to keep it.
Yeah, I don't want to piss people off. Okay, dude. I don't know. Should we talk about something fun, or should we just keep going down this dark path?
Well, what did you have planned? Did you have more dark stuff?
We're gonna go into the war room if you want to go into the war room.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. And like I said, remember, this is all on me. Okay, so I don't know if you've been keeping up with Iraq and Syria. You know.
Very high level.
What's going on? I always talk about wars like products. Like, hey, oh, did you see the new war coming out? Or what's the release date on that new war? Well, the release date was actually yesterday, where the Biden administration started a very huge bombing campaign. Literally, this is bombs over Baghdad type level stuff. We're back, baby. It's officially now we're back in 3 wars. Because it was sort of like we were sort of dabbling in the Middle East, and we were more just focusing on Ukraine and Israel. But now it's like, no, we're officially. Yesterday, they bombed major airstrikes on 85 targets. That's not nothing. That's something.
Yeah, that was the retaliation one, right? For
3 soldiers that were killed.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's necessary. They kill us. We got to hit them back harder. But also, I don't want to go to war. You know, I don't want to go to 3 wars. I don't want to fund 3 wars anymore. You know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Bernie Sanders.
Oh, go ahead. I was just gonna say, it seems like every president we have, it doesn't matter if they're right or left, they end up still doing the same thing.
But this administration, though, is pretty comfortable with conflict, more than we've seen in the past. Probably not since like Eisenhower. You know, I think that's probably the last time I would say probably since like Truman, Eisenhower eras, like Korean War, 50s and then 60s throughout Vietnam. Very comfortable with war, very comfortable with conflict. This administration, though, is setting some records, dude. Not just with money. We're printing money to have these things happen. Right now, Bernie Sanders is fighting back, though, in a very meaningful way. He introduced an amendment to actually stop sending money. There was $10 billion we had allocated for weapons for Israel. And he's like, no. I'm gonna write us out of that. We're gonna get out of that because that's escalating it to a new degree. $10 million just for weapons. I have a real problem with this. Here's the other problem I have with this. These countries are really comfortable with war. They just like, it seems like they kind of just like killing each other because like I looked up in the beginning, I was like, how many members about how many members of Hamas are there? And at the time they're like, I think 25,000 was the census.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, so there is an end in sight. It doesn't matter. They just keep ramping and inflating those numbers. They're like, actually, it's more like 30,000. And right now they've killed 27,000 Palestinians.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think, okay, well, we've already passed the number of Hamas members, but then that's basically an admission of we're also killing civilians. And also we're inflating the numbers because we want to just keep this going. It's basically genocide. It's nasty, dude. I mean, we're not funding Ukraine as much anymore, but this escalation in Iraq and Syria, and then the amount of money that we're just sending to Israel, it's terrifying, dude. I don't even know. I really don't know if we'll be here to see if the ballot sorting robots ever get it together. Might not ever happen.
I don't know. I feel like there's been conflict for every single presidency.
This is like,
I was more worried with the Russia-Ukraine thing because I didn't want World War III, to start. It's something when we weren't necessarily fighting Russia. We were kind of proxy fighting, I guess. But
they're all proxy wars, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, like this new one, it's us versus Iran, but we're just doing it in Iraq and Syria.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like the current White House is just too willing to keep it going. Like,
I think there's a lot of people in the government and the military that they want to have an influence on global politics. So like they feel like there's a need to control it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I don't agree with most of it either.
It is a lot of control. I think you're correct on that.
And I do understand the argument if we're not involved at all, which I think diplomacy is the best way to do it, not bombs, but
right. But you need a president to do that,
Yeah.
And this whole excuse we constantly say we can't really blame Biden. He doesn't even know what's going on. It's really not him. That doesn't give him a pass. I mean, he should be stepping in more than Anthony Blinken. Anthony Blinken feels like our president.
Yeah.
But hey, today's the South Carolina primary. Do you think Biden's going to be the nominee?
I think Marianne Williamson has a shot.
Oh, she's such a goofball, dude.
She's not gonna...
Dean Phillips. I like that guy actually. He's a Yang gang. Andrew Yang's been really promoting Dean Phillips for a while. And I liked some of Dean Phillips' things. He actually reminded me a bit of like John Kasich. Do you remember John Kasich?
Yeah.
Really like fair and decent guy who just made sense and seemed reasonable and was willing to work with anyone who was willing to work with him. I think John Kasich would have been a pretty good president. Dean Phillips reminds me of him, but he sort of has a DeSantis quality where it's like, I don't think he really wants the job, but a good man. He's not going to do anything in South Carolina. He's probably going to suspend the campaign tomorrow. But
I think they both probably will.
I think Marianne Williamson, is it Williams or Williamson?
I think it's Williamson.
She's so delusional and so rich. She'll probably stick around for a while just because she likes to run for president. I think it's a good way for her to. It's like basically she's doing a book tour, every time she runs for president.
Yeah. What kind of books? I've never read any of her books. Are they like self-help books or?
Yeah, I'm imagining they're like The Secret.
I never read
like
that book.
I don't think that's for us, dude. Maybe she does like the kind of ladies version of 48 Laws of Power. I don't know what she does. I never cared for her. I mostly just can't stand the way she talks. She's got a ridiculous
She doesn't
voice.
sound American.
She is, though. It's weird.
She is, and I actually agree with her on some of her policies, but yeah,
Oh, no, I don't think she's a dummy. I think she's just like, she's delusional to think she's presidential material and the amount of money she must spend, but she's independently wealthy. So good for her for following that dream.
She's getting subsidized by her books.
Yeah. Well, here's what we're doing. We're doing a really special Wednesday episode. Just the hot sauce tier list with some bonus content in there. I think some people out there might like to see a little special exclusive thing. So tune in on Wednesday, or hopefully have that bell on so you get the notifications. I think it would probably be a perfect thing for like you're eating some wings, you do a Wing Wednesday, then you do a double feature with Hot Ones. Maybe watch the Sydney Sweeney episode. I got to watch that. And yeah, enjoy it.
Yeah.
We really went deep on hot sauce. You may have seen part of it last week. Well, this is the thrilling conclusion.
It's part 2, but it also includes part 1.
It's like a prequel and a sequel. All right, cheers, Kevin. I love talking to you, dude.
Cheers.
Hold on, wait.
Do you have other things?
Kevin, it's a dinosaur.
A dinosaur?
A dinosaur. Da 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 da. I'm glad that we did different theme songs. That was kind of perfect because I didn't want to get like another copyright strike from Ben Carson.